What's up, guys? This is Brian Kelly, Kelly Family Fitness. I've got 3 quick little drills you can do to improve your front rack position. So whether you are working on a clean type motion or a weightlifting style of front squat, or even if you're just trying to make your life a little bit better in push-up land because your wrists aren't getting into good extension, these drills are going to help you. The first one I'm going to show you is kind of an active release technique. I've got my barbell set up at about where I would squat. So for me, it's just a little bit lower than my shoulders. I want to address my triceps first because they tend to be the antagonist for how the elbow bends. And I tend to be sticky through the long head of the tricep, even a little bit on the medial head. So what I do here is I'm going to lay my tricep, long head down, on the barbell. I'm going to apply a little bit of pressure with my top hand and then just run through flexion and extension, kind of looking for any kind of knots or any kind of hot spots as I do this. Now typically I would spend maybe a minute, minute and a half, 2 minutes on each side. But if an area is really tight or really giving me some resistance, I may spend a little bit more time. And again, as I work this up toward my lat, I can also even rotate and kind of incorporate some of that medial tricep head too. And just with a couple of these little flexion extension against some resistance, I can automatically feel a little bit better bend in my elbow, which is really what I'm going to need for that movement. The next one's going to get right into the wrist. I've got about 1.25 inches wide TheraBand. This is a newer one. It's fairly heavy. I'm going to take my elbow and lay it right on the bar at about where I would want my front rack height. From there, I'm going to have my knee bent and into the TheraBand, and I'm going to slowly push band all the way to the floor and pull my wrist into extension slightly outside of the width of my shoulder. Now I'm kind of open hand on this, and I'm just relaxing through my wrist, and I'm kind of allowing this rack position to happen through resistance. I want my elbows to be relatively straight ahead, my arm kind of going to an outward angle while my wrist is being pulled down. These can get very intense, especially in the inside corners of your elbows and at the joint at your wrist, depending on where you're tight. But they're totally worth doing. They're totally scalable. You could use a small mini band for this in the beginning and gradually build up to a thicker band. Either way, you want to just kind of apply the amount of force that it takes to pull you into a good stretch, but you should be able to relax into it. If you're fighting, if it's a lot of pain, your body's going to resist gaining flexibility. Your Golgi tendon organs do not like pain in the body when we're pulling into that big stretch. So kind of find the right resistance to get you a good stretch, and then but then kind of scale into heavier resistance as your body moves into bigger ranges of motion. The last one I'm going to show you kind of helps to stretch the shoulder and still reinforce that front rack position. I'm going to grab PVC pipe toward the bottom. I'll drop it back on the outside of my shoulder and kind of down the side of my leg. With my outside arm, I'm going to grab low, kind of hanging on a little bit up top, and then pull into stretch. And this is going to not only stretch my shoulders and elbows, but my wrists too, all at the same time, and really make that front rack position the priority. And again, I'd hold these 30, maybe 60 seconds, build up to 2 minutes each side. And then as I come out of it, I'd go to the other side. Ideally, when I'm done, this front rack position should look and feel a lot better. And my right arm definitely is working less than my left, just with those couple little releases that I did. And it's generally my tighter side. So give them a shot, see if they help you out. Hopefully they do. Hit me up if you need anything else. Leave any questions in the comments. Thanks a lot.